And this session is to help recruiters understand the emotional landscape of job seekers, employers, and recruiters, and to develop holistic strategies that align all the stakeholders' needs and values. So before I give the floor to our DTA Miranda Rumi, I would like to introduce her. Miranda is a Bali-based, highly experienced life coach, trainer, facilitator, and inspirational speaker. She excels in guiding highly functioning and committed individuals to identify, challenge, and transform limiting beliefs in order to live the exceptional lives they want and truly believe they deserve. And also, our DTA Miranda Rumi is also doing this is actually a test run for her keynote workshop. I believe it's tomorrow on Friday for a conference or summit of recruitment firms across Asia and Australia. All the best to you. And I pass this floor to you, and she will be talking about emotional intelligence in recruitment. Miranda Rumi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, MC Jane Moore. It is a pleasure for me and always a joy to be presenting in this beloved club where I can get to try out my presentation before I laid it out there for the public. So let me just start with the background of this. So a few months ago, I had a chance to coach 50 employees, or actually leaders, like you could say third tier and all the way up to the core leaders, like the suite, the suit, the C-suits. And it was such a revelation for me and such a privilege to be able to get paid to coach so many people and to understand the different levels and the different landscapes, emotional landscape of each employer, or even the chief of, the C-suites. And at one point, I was coaching one person, and this is after discovering a lot of interesting things, such as like they are all happy with the company that they're working on, but all of them were stressed out, and which is a contradiction in itself, because the company they're working for is a wellness company. It is actually one of the most renowned wellness retreat in the world, based in Maldives and a few other beautiful situations. So they got pretty good package. They have good accommodation usually in this beautiful paradise, good food, and access to wellness, to therapies, to treatments and stuff like that. And yet across the board, across of this 50 people, stress is never far away. So they were all stressed out to different levels, and which is a very ironic in a way, because in one way they're trying to serve people who wants to experience wellness, people who wants to have a life-changing experiences, and yet at the same time they're carrying such high level of stress to an extent where one person has migraine every day, so she blacks out every day. So that is one of the extent, and she just felt like there's nothing that she could do, and she just hugged her job like it is a safety net. And there are some others who have chronic pain, and very otherwise a lot of stresses. However, one time I was recruiting this one person who was fairly new, less than 3 months. So she was still in the trial period. And I was listening to her story, her stress level, and what she wanted. And I could feel that there is a lack of connection, this person, and she's in charge of a pretty big responsibility, such as marketing or something that has a high level of stress. And I was listening to her and I was coaching her, but in the back of my mind, I had this thought, who the hell recruited this person? She should not have been recruited for this job. So that thought stayed with me. And then I thought, wouldn't that be great if I could help the recruiter find the right candidates, but not only the right candidates for the job, but also to help the candidates find the jobs that would give them joy, that not just fulfill their potentials, but also give them joy, give them an opportunity to growth and happiness, and not just a job that would give them a lot of stress and pain, and perhaps also illnesses. So a few months, actually not long after that, I was talking to my mentee in my club, Magical Bali, and he happens to be in a recruitment firm. He owns a recruitment firm. So I was sharing with him, I'm really enjoying coaching all these people. But then I saw, and I just shared with you I shared with him the story that I just shared with you. And I said, like, I wonder who recruited this person. And then he asked me a few more questions, and serendipitously, he was the one who recruited that person for the company. Amazing, right? Amazing story. So we start talking about it, and I was like sharing my thoughts about the recruitment, the process, and how could possibly better recruit the person, so that when you recruit, you help the person to get more clarity about what they want in life and the kind of life they want. And from there, he said, actually, we're going to have a conference for recruiting firms. I'm going to propose your name. So long story short, I got it. And they said they really want me to be speaking and sharing my perspectives as a life coach. So here I am. Now I'm going to share with you guys my presentation. It's a very simple one for now, but because this is going to be a lot of interaction, is going to be a 2.5 hour long workshop. So before we start, type in the chat if you've ever been a job seeker. Okay, I see your raised hand. Okay, my next question is, if you had gone through a job interview. Everyone has experienced it? Okay, I saw a few hands up. I don't know if I can see everybody. And then, have you been, and then raise your hand if you had been the employer and have to recruit somebody or have to interview somebody. Okay, I see some hands going up. And by chance, I'm just going to ask, who has been a recruiter in a recruiting company or part of HR that have to recruit new job seekers? Probably it's not so common, yeah? So we're not going to go very deep into that, but I would like to just ask you to share your experience when you were seeking a job and have to go to interview. What were you experiencing as you were in the advent of that interview? Like maybe a few days before or the day before, what was happening inside you? What were you feeling? How did you feel? So if you don't mind, share in the chat what you're experiencing. Nervous. Okay. What I was not sure I would be yes, okay. So nervous, scared, maybe. And would I write to, I was the only shortlisted person, but I was too nervous, okay? It's like years of life in hedging on one conversation. So does that mean that that's like all your eggs are in one basket at that moment? Is that what you meant, Coach Wibawa?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So much is at stake, right? When you are in the interviewing. And so this is what happened. When you're that nervous, when you are that so much is in line, I would guess it's very hard to be really clear when you're not that calm, right? So you're all, and you would have a lot of thoughts going through your head. Oh, am I going to be good enough? Are they going to accept me? Am I asking, like all kinds of thoughts, right? So these are the things that would be going on inside of a person who is being before the interview, during the interview also perhaps. And so sometimes that would mean that the answers may not be totally real. And you know what? I discovered as I was talking to my mentee, I said, share with me the questions that you usually ask. And then he said, well, these are some of the questions I ask, but you can also ask ChatGPT to give you the 20 most common questions that a recruiter would ask a job seeker. So then, like I saw this long list of questions. And then it occurred to me also, well, if you can ask ChatGPT to give you the questions, that means you can also ask ChatGPT to give you the answers. Correct? So give me the answers for the most commonly asked questions during recruitment in this industry or that industry. ChatGPT can give you those questions. So my point is, things are not really real. Things are not really authentic in this process. They would be prepared, the job seeker would be preparing the questions, just like, like in Indonesia, what I can relate to is when you take the university test. There are certain questions that are going to be asked, and you prepare to answer those questions. So now in the process, it's not quite real. The recruiter are going to ask the questions that they think, or they'll ask also ChatGPT to give them. And then the the candidate, the job seeker will answer, and then they would have like perfect answers. Oh, this person give the right answers, give the right question, the right response. And this is what the company wants. This person match it just based on their answers. And so they go and they propose this person. Now the person pass with the interview with flying colors. Let's put it that way. So it looks like all is good. The recruiter was asked to find a job seeker or find a candidate, and they found it and they proposed it to the company, and the company said, look at the report. Okay, all good, we take it. All right, so that's one phase of it. So now the second phase, which is on the recruiter side. I asked the recruiter, what is your biggest challenge when you recruit, or the biggest issue? And this is what I found out. So sometimes a recruiter found the right candidate and they already proposed that person for the company. But at the same time, as it's how it is done nowadays, a job seeker or a candidate puts their CVs, their application, not with just one recruiter company. They could be sending their CVs to 100 recruitment companies. And in that case, so when a recruitment company, after they've done the interview, they've done, like the coaching to make the profile and this and that, they got the job, but then they found out they're not the only one who found a job for this person. So the candidate now has options, which one is the best, and they may go with what they like best. And so the recruitment is left high and dry because they've invested a lot of time and money and energy into that. They put their staff to interview and to create this profile and do all the process, and then the candidate went somewhere else. So that is one issue that is continuously happening. And then the second issue that also happened is the possibility like this. Everybody already agreed. The candidate matches what the corporate or the employer wants. They already agreed in 2 months they're going to start the job. And then like 2-3 weeks before they're supposed to start, the candidate said, my company, my original company, give me a counter offer. Counter offer, maybe better packages, better salary or promotion, and they decided to stay with the original company. And so now, 2 people are in the bind. The recruiter will have to give this so-called bad news to the company. And then once the company heard that, then they also have to do adjustments again, because they may have been counting on that person to replace somebody who's leaving, or it's a new assignment that has to be fulfilled. And now they're left high and dry. They didn't have anybody, and then they would have to start the process again. And when this happened, according to the recruiter friend of mine, it is demoralizing. It is demotivating. It is such a ruin the day, ruin the mood, and it makes you lose confidence. And this is the emotional side of it. This is the emotional landscape that I'm talking about. You know, if you think about it, okay, maybe if you don't look into the emotional side, you probably would just, okay, well, too bad, I have to do something, or that is just the risk of the job, the ups and downs. But that emotional experience is very real. It's very disappointing, right? Can you imagine how disappointing that would be? After you've got a job, you found a match, and there are 2 types of recruitment company. One that is called contingency recruitment firm, and then the other one is the retained recruitment company. And for this contingency, which some company would choose to be contingency firm, they have more freedom, but they only get paid when the match happened and the person starts the job. So that means they're not going to get the money that they had been counting on. So close to that, and then they have to, and then, yeah, the hardest part was actually having to talk to the employer or to the company to give this bad news. Yeah, so there's a lot of emotions that are going on in this, and we're not even looking at the employer right now, but between this job seeker and the recruiter, the job seeker probably has a lot of emotions involved in this, and then this is where I saw that there a sliver of light, a possibility that there is a way to bridge this gap by doing the coaching or doing the interview in a slightly different way that goes deeper in the very beginning to understand where the recruiter comes from. Where the candidate is in their life, their situation, or why they want that job, you know. So these are the parts that can be going into depth, that both parties can do. So when I was thinking about that aha moment that I had during that coaching process, I thought, what if the recruiter can help the candidate to become clear about what they want and where they really want to work? And so it's not just that they can be swayed easily by the money or by the prospect, but really connecting with themselves. What is it that I really want? And not everybody knows what they really want. They think they want a good job or a high-paying job because it would give them respect or it would make them look better. But it may not be something that they really want. Deep down, they may have a deeply buried desire, a deeply buried dream, but they just give up because they feel like they have to earn money, they have to support families, so they sacrifice. And a lot of people are okay with sacrifice. But I can tell you guys, sacrifice will never make you happy. It will catch up with you sooner or later. Okay, so let me go to the next thing, all right? So, yeah, so let me just ask this question. Who would be asking this question? How to find the right job or recruiter? Who would say this job? Who would ask this question? Okay, give it a guess.
Candidate.
Yes,
Oh.
the candidate. I think it's pretty easy to answer this. And then how to find, now I'm putting the word conscientious and right candidate. You know, you understand conscientious, right? Somebody who has integrity, somebody who cares and not just like leave or change their mind without really considering. So that's what I mean by conscientious. How can you establish that conscience in the candidate? So how to find a conscientious and right candidate? Who would ask that question?
The boss. The boss?
The employer.
Actually, here we have the recruiter. Sorry, the recruiter. Yeah, we're talking about a recruiter here. There is the recruiter in between. So the recruiter concern, questions, or desire is to find a conscientious and right candidate for the job that they have. Okay. And then, like this one, who only wants to, because they work with the recruiter, they have this question, how to find the right recruiter? Who would ask this question?
Candidate.
Actually, the boss.
The boss? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the boss. Yeah, because the boss, like they trust, they don't have time to look for the candidates. So they have to find the right recruiter. And there are recruiter and there are recruiters. I was chatting earlier with somebody who just got a job and asked the process. And he shared with me that he's 29 years old. In the past, he's been going through a lot of job interviews, but he never got it because he didn't have a certain level of degree. And then he finally got a job that didn't ask for his degree. And he also shared how different the experience of the interview was. The ones that he didn't get the job anyway, it was like the questions was just like a list of questions, just a list of questions. And they just ask, okay, you answer this, you answer this, you answer this, right? And the other one, the one that he got the job from and which he just loved, he shared like how they actually did the interview. So the interview was, he said, okay, I mean, some of you maybe can guess who this person is, because I taught in TLI about active listening. And he said, actually, I learned, what I learned in TLI really helped me with this interview. And that was active listening. So the good recruiter can exercise the active listening very, very well. And they even said, okay, actually, there's a list of questions, but I'm not going to ask those questions because a good recruiter would go deeper by doing a follow-up questions. They don't just go through the list like a laundry list, but they ask a question and then they follow up asking questions on the answer, right? So yes, this is what I'm hoping to teach the recruiters so that they can prevent the cause of their pain, which is losing a candidate or candidate changing their mind or disappointments and all of that by doing the first phase right or deeper or better, right? Okay, so go to the next slide. So this is what I call like a golden triangle. You know, the golden triangle between the candidate, the job seeker, the recruiter, and the employer. So we're talking this because there's a recruitment process. Like, I think it's very different if you just don't have a recruiter in between. But this is the world of recruitment. Yeah. So when you have these three elements, three stakeholders, then the ideal is to have everybody satisfied and it is right. So for the job seeker to find a job that fulfill their potentials, but also makes them happy and fulfilling. And then for the recruitment to be able to complete the process and not face the disappointment because perhaps they don't know the candidate well enough. And I think that can be corrected by understanding the candidate better and even going the extra mile to help the candidate become clearer about what it is that they want so that the recruiter can find the rightest job for them that would be satisfying, that would not make them unhappy. And then the employer wins when that happens because the employer could have somebody who can achieve great things, and many people can achieve great things. But if they're not happy, if they don't have the right energy, it is, in the end, it's going to bite the employer. And this is what I'm starting to see, you know, when the physical side was all nice and good, but the emotional side was not attended to. So that means the employer doesn't really look at, are their employees really happy? They're really fulfilled? Because if they do, their output is also going to be better. And that I can guarantee, okay? So now we all know that there are the stakeholders in the recruitment process. There are three: the job seeker, the recruiter, who would look through many candidates, and then the employer who would find that one right candidate. So this is where I'm teaching the process. In the process to help with the emotional side of it. So for the job seeker, it is about being nervous, about self-doubting, about not being clear with where they are, but they just power through or push through. So because they think they are achieving a goal or finding a job that they've been looking for. So the emotion, so I work a lot with the emotion, and the emotional, there is already what is emotional guidance system within every one of us. And this is what can guide you to the place where you want to be. But often we ignore this and we go into our head and we try to compare, we try to get input or even look for more information when there is already a feeling that you can feel that can give you a much accurate guidance. So I'm wrapping this up a little bit quicker because of the limited time, yeah? So, you know, whenever we do anything, we actually feel something. We either feel good or we don't feel good. You guys agree? Yeah? Yeah. And me and also all of us, I bet, we were never taught to use that guidance. If anything, the opposite would probably happen a lot more. Don't trust your feeling, you know, use your logic. Anybody has ever heard that? Use your logic. Don't use your feeling. Yeah? So people would say, be logical, you know, don't be, you know, too emotional and all of that. So we were systematically taught to not trust our feelings. Okay, but one thing I can tell you, and this is the emotional guidance, when you can feel, when you do something, when you have a thought, usually that thought has a feeling. You either feel good or you don't feel good. And some of you probably have heard me talk about Ask and It Is Given book. This is being part of it. So how are you feeling right now? Good or bad? Or not so good? So if you can identify, oh, I don't feel so good. I feel a little bit of catch or not, or discomfort. Heed that. Pay attention to that. So when you are having, you can become aware of your feeling. Oh, I feel good. I feel light. Okay, then there's nothing to worry about. But when you have that not so good feeling, look at the thought. Look at the thought, just like what I was thinking about. There is always a thought that is related to that feeling. You may be thinking, I don't think I can do that. I don't know how they're going to see me, right? So then you have bad feeling because you're doubting yourself. And so that would be the first thing. So how are you feeling? And what are the thoughts that's causing that? So once you become aware, oh, I have this thought, maybe I'm not the right person. Maybe they think I'm not good enough, or maybe I say something wrong, you know? So there's always some thought that is causing you to feel a certain way. So now how can I get to a better feeling thought? All right, so I won't go there as much right now because I want to go to the next one first. Let me see. All right, so when you are going into this feeling, you're aware that you are not feeling good? Is it possible to note when you're not feeling good? Yeah. Some of us is so used to not feeling good, it becomes a normalcy. But if you can notice, there's a little bit like maybe a little bit of nausea, a little bit of a tightness. I used to be feeling all of those all the time, right? Until I start working on this and then understanding and releasing. Now I'm so sensitive and I have a choice. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to continue in that feeling. So how can you get to the better feeling? So first, notice it, then think of, look at how can I get to a better feeling thought. So with that, let's have a look at this, okay? When you don't have a good feeling, look at what you're focusing on. When you don't feel good in general, look at what you're focusing on. And then there are only two big categories. You're focusing on what is wanted, or you're focusing on the lack of what is wanted. So whenever you focus on the lack of what you want, of the lack of what is wanted, you're not going to feel good. You're going to be aware, it's like, oh, I don't want that, I don't have that. You know, you start thinking, and the more you think about it, the worse you're going to feel. And then the other side is what is wanted. So how is this relating to this whole process, or this whole topic about recruitment, or about working with people? So we can look at it from the different sides of it. So let's say the people who are seeking job, right? They are, when they're not feeling good, what am I focusing on? So most of the time they say, oh, you know, I'm wondering if I'm saying the right thing. I'm thinking, maybe they don't like me, maybe I say something wrong. So if that thoughts are going on in their head, then they're not going to be clear. And this, on the same side, like if it is the recruiter who is doing the asking, and then they sense it doesn't feel right, then they can feel that. They can feel, yeah, I'm not connecting with this, or I don't get that feeling right. And then they can go a little bit deeper. So tell me more about whatever that person is saying. And this way, let's say you are having those prepared answers, or prepared questions, but also prepared answers. Once you go a little bit deeper and ask more, how does that feel? What does that mean? Then the person has to use their own thoughts. They can no longer give the rehearsed answers. Yeah. And the same way, the questioner can go deeper with that to really understand this person, and then to help that person to find out, to learn whether this is what they're really wanting, or what they really need. And so in that way, there's clarification, or clarity, more clarity. The interviewer, or in this case, the middle person, is asking more questions to get clear about the job seeker. And then the job seeker also get clearer understanding about what it is that they really want. So in this case, in the beginning, this is where the selection is happening, rather than having a rote questions and also rote answers. And then it's just like, okay, tick, tick, tick. They answer the right thing. They answer the right thing. And then without going deeper and understanding what the person really wants, or what the person, why the person is wanting it. And this is where I find the first mismatch happen. And if it's not being taken care of, this is what's going to continue to the next level, to the next level. And this is, as my friend recruiter shared with me, they already found somebody, and then last minute they change their mind, or they just like, not seeming to have the confidence. And this is what had happened again and again, always happens. So there's always like an ups and downs and high and lows in the recruiting system. Yeah. So by focusing on what it is that they're feeling, what it is that wanted, and the lack of is what is wanted. If you can help candidate or the job seeker to be clear about that, it will help them a lot of heartaches and a lot of stress. later on because they just get the job because they think they want it before they're getting a lot clearer on that one. Okay, so I will open this up for questions, but just let me move this on just a little bit further. So with that, this is the other side of it. So let's say each part of it, like each part, like that is the job seeker, and then there is the recruiter. If each person can start with this and they can become a lot clearer in the process before they go into the interview process, it will give them a much better result and a much better peace of mind. So before you start, this is what we call segment intending. And let's say this is about for the job seeker, it would be an interview. For the recruiter, it would be also an interview, but on the other side of it, right? So let's say, okay, let's make this just an example. Let's say, so I'm seeing Coach Wibawa here. Let's say you're interested in getting a job. I know you already have a job as a coach, so probably won't be looking for a job. But in case something is tempting in the future, so let's say you are going to, so let me go through the process first, and then I'm going to ask you to do that yourself, okay? So let's say you are going for an interview. Right? An interview for a job. Later on, you can tell me what it is. So what are you going to do in that interview? You are going to usually, let's say you're going to for a job. Let's do a little practice. What would be a job that you would like to get?
A job that I would
First-
love to get is some kind of technical manager
Okay.
where I can consult clients for their technical requirements. So for example, I go to a company, they ask me, okay, I want to create this software, and then because I all have the software know-how and the communication know-how, it's kind of the perfect job for me if I were to change careers. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that background illustration. So let's say going for an interview, right? For a job interview. All right. So what are you going to do in that interview? So let's say, give me give me an answer. What are you going to do in that interview? For example, answering questions, but you can also go a little bit deeper or, more activities or more verbs. What am I going to do in that segment, which is going to a job interview?
I think the first thing I would look to do is, since I've also experienced recruiting people, I find that when I am interviewing someone, I always root for them. It's like, please succeed, man. Don't make my job harder. So the first thing I would do is build rapport with the interviewer. Because I
Beautiful.
know if the interviewer has my back and the interviewer likes me or likes the prospect of me being in the company with him, it will be a much easier road throughout the interview and the interview process, not just that interview.
Yeah, thank you. So one thing, and I like that, it's like what do you say? Root for you, or build rapport, or what would you
Yeah,
say?
build rapport.
Okay, build rapport. So in this segment, the segment is called interview, right? In that segment, you're going to build rapport. What else? Give me a few more things. Build rapport.
Show that I am qualified not just tell.
Okay, so let's find a positive word for that. So listen. I'll be listening in that segment, correct? You'll be
Mhm.
listening. You'll be
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, I'll be understanding.
I will what else? Focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's say you can also I will communicate. Because you have a
Communicate.
yeah.
Yes.
Express myself clearly. You know that you could say it like that. Yeah, I would express myself clearly. So all what what I'm asking you to do this is like you becoming aware of all those things rather than okay, I'm just going to interview. It's so general, right? But by saying I'm going to be listening, I am going to build rapport, I am going to understand, I am going to align, maybe align with yourself, so that or focus, all those things. So just by saying all those words, you actually putting your attention to that. Yeah, you become aware of all those verbs. So what I'm going to do relates to verbs. All right. So that's the part. You can write it down, like, I mean, when you do, I do that also, like I would write it down a few things. So just it becomes in my awareness, right? And then the next thing I would ask myself, what do I want to achieve? All right. So from that word, but that question, the answer would be like if I say I want to achieve, what would be the answer be? The first one would be a verb. What I want to achieve would be a noun. Yeah, think of that because then you remember, oh, it's a noun. Something that would be a noun. So what do you want to achieve? I'll give you.
Understanding.
Yes, beautiful. Understanding. What else? Rapport. Right? And what about alignment? Right? You can also alignment, you can also, let's say, and this is what often when people go to interview, they don't have, which is focus. They focus too much on their own thoughts, but they're not really present. They're not really present. So, focus, that is something that you want to achieve, or presence, so that you're there in the moment, so that you can listen to the questions and answer the questions, right? So what else would you like to achieve? Anyone can chime in if you want to help Gennison. I'm going to give a hint.
Yes,
One hint.
Miranda. What was the question again, Miranda?
What do I want
after?
in this segment,
Sorry?
in this interview? What do I want to achieve in this interview?
Oh.
The second an interview, right? Being interviewed. So what do I want to achieve?
A level of trust at the end of our conversation.
So trust. You just say trust?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say trust because it's an interview for a job. So unless at the end of your interview the recruiter or interviewer is not trusting you or what you say, they're not going to take you in. So there is a level of superficial trust that's necessary to be achieved, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can choose anything, but I think trust is a good thing. You want to be able to trust, so you're not suspicious, because if you like not trust that person, you may start thinking, oh, this person is gonna, mock me or something like that. So trust, yeah, mutual trust. You can say trust. I'll throw one, and you guys can throw another. Satisfaction.
Yes.
Yeah. You can wish that. You can want that. I want to experience satisfaction. I want to feel good. That is another thing, right? So when you say you want to achieve rapport, satisfaction, maybe mutual understanding, so that your communication is easy, you don't misunderstood each other, and then trust. So I would throw in even fun and joy. Right? So so that's when you start saying all that, this becomes like more real in your mind, because now you either visualize it or you become aware, yeah, oh, I want fun, right? So I want satisfaction, all of those things, right? Isn't it fun to do it like that? And then last one, and this is also very, very important, how do I want to feel in this segment? Okay, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? So anyone want to throw a feeling that you want to experience when you are in an interview?
Confidence.
Yes. Yeah, I want to feel confident. How do I want to feel? I'm
Confident.
confident. So these are adjectives. Like what do I want to achieve is a noun. Now, how do I want to feel is adjective. So I want to feel confident. Yeah. See, when you just start thinking about the word confident, and you're probably going to start having an image of yourself being confident, and you would feel good about it, right? So you're kind of like building positive vibrations here, positive vibes. So you making yourself feel good. So how do I want to feel? What else do you want to feel? Okay, I'm going to throw in one word, ease. That is a word that we don't often use, but ease is the opposite of stress. Things are easy, you know, ease. You want to feel relaxed, easy. That is ease. All right, so satisfied, ease. What else? Fun. You can want fun. You can want fun. So satisfaction or satisfied, ease, fun. What else would you like to get in your job interview? Anyone can share? Let's say,
Satisfied.
yes. Yeah, feel satisfied. When you focus on the feeling satisfied, you almost don't have to spell out the outcome, but the feeling is going to be satisfied. So, you know, like how when you ask yourself, how do I want to feel? You kind of like give yourself the ultimate that you want, rather than saying, I want them to be nice to me, I want them to do this or do that. You just said, I want to feel satisfied. It doesn't matter how it comes to you, but you just want to feel satisfied. Doesn't that make you feel good when you think like that? Yeah. I want to feel satisfied. I want to feel fun. I want to feel appreciative. I want to feel happy. I want to feel accomplished. Right? Anything that you can think of. And when you think about it, when you say it, when you utter it, it becomes manifest in you. You start feeling it. You start relating, you know, reconnecting with that word. And you're going to start feeling it. And this is how you can build your vibration and prepare yourself for some segment in your life, whether it's a job interview, whether you are going to have a conversation, difficult conversation, whether you are going to train, to present, all these things you can do with this segment intending. Okay, so this segment intending can be done both by the job seekers. So before they go to the job interview, rather than feeling all nervous and scared and nervous and all of that, they can do this segment intending. So this includes visualization and the feeling. The most important, the feeling of every word that you say, like what you're going to do, what you're going to achieve, and how you want to feel. So from the side of the job seeker, a segment intended before you go to the interview. And then for the interviewer or for the recruiter, they can also do this segment, interviewing a candidate. Let's call it like that. What am I going to do? I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be understanding. I'm going to be aligning and building rapport sometimes, or creating a safe space for the person to open up that it could be something. And then what do I want to achieve? For me, many times it is like ease. I like things to be at ease. So easy, so I don't stressed out. And the other thing that I want to feel is satisfaction. That is something that I often say. I want to feel satisfaction and ease and connection and alignment. So I kind of like pave the way for all the things that I want to experience. When you put your awareness to that, you start visualizing it, you start feeling it, then the possibility of, because the law of attraction works whenever you're focusing on something, right? It will attract to you whatever you're focusing on. And by saying these words that you want to experience, words that you want to feel, you are going to attract that instead. And now, if you look at the opposite of it, like it's like, oh, they're not going to like my question answer, or they're going to, I don't think I'm good enough for this job. If you focus on that, that's what you're going to experience also. All right. So this segment intending is very powerful when you go into a process to help you control, in a way, the results of what you're having by focusing on what you want, and therefore allow the law of attraction to do its work to bring it to you by the virtue of your focus. And it only takes 17 seconds. I think I already mentioned this in my previous workshop. It only takes 17 seconds for another thought to join that thought. And then it takes only 4 times 17 seconds for that thought with its derivation, for its expansion, to start gaining momentum towards manifestation. So if you can remember that, it goes both ways. When you focus on what you don't want and you focus on what you want, it gives the same result towards whether it's not what you're not wanting that you focus on, or what you're wanting that you focus on. Okay.
Miranda, I've not put any buffer time, so you've already, I think you've gone 5 minutes past at least.
Okay. So with that, let me wrap this up. This is the essence of my presentation, that when we go into interviewing a candidate, or whether we're interviewing for a job, often we feel there's not much that we are in control of. And then often the results is not to our satisfaction. Maybe we don't quite find the job that we really want, or as a recruiter, maybe this may not last, because if they work and then they didn't continue, or they change their mind before they start working, it is going to be very costly. So by doing this intending, in a way, you start creating towards what it is that you are aiming for. And by the power of the visualization, which cause the law of attraction to respond, because the law of attraction only does one thing. It brings to you whatever you're focusing on. So that focus is it only takes 68 seconds for anything that you focus on to start manifesting. So what you do is you can control the direction of your thought. Not so much your thought, but you can control the direction of your thought. So when you find starting with a thought that makes you not feel good, just stop it, because it's going to make you feel worse and worse, and it's going to start happening. So pivot, and find a thought that makes you feel a little bit better. And by focusing on that, you will start attracting that. So when you apply these principles in interviewing both as a job seeker and also as the recruiter, this will help you avoid the unwanted consequences. And then most importantly, it puts you in a better feeling state, which makes life feels better. And usually good things happens when you feel good. So with that, I would like to conclude this presentation. I don't know if I have enough time for question and answer. If not, yes, you can also ask me the questions directly through direct message or personal message. So with that, thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention to my presentation. And with that, I give it back, the control back to our Toastmaster of the meeting or MC Jane Mo. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Miranda Rumi, for that insight of the recruitment process and the strategies, things that we can apply to be always in control of our own emotions, and how we can actually, there's a practical way for us to do it. So thank you for that presentation. I believe later there will be some feedback. And for now, we will go for bio break, right? Bio break and group photo. Who will be taking pictures? Jai, you're muted.
Said bio break and group photo can't be at the same time.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's in the agenda is that as well.
Okay, picture time. The formal one first, yeah. Hi, Debbie. 1, 2, 3. This is formal, yeah. Oh. And now, how do you feel when you create a better thought? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you. Back to you, Jane.
So we will go for 5 minutes, bio break, and we'll come back at
8:48.
8:48. Yes,
I'll
8:48.
let you know.
Hi, Debbie. Hi, Elios. How are you? How is Surabaya, Elios, and how is Bandung, Debbie?
Hi, distinguished Toastmaster Harlina. Bandung is always great as usual.
Wonderful, wonderful. Am I going to meet you this Sunday?
Afraid not, because this Sunday I already have another agenda in Jakarta.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're in Jakarta and I'm going to Bandung. Okay. Sign in now. Elios, how's Surabaya?